Straight to our final conversation in matters of party administration. The court has continued to define the limits of authority and recourse to due process within political structures. A federal high court sitting in Abuja has restrained the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC from recognizing or participating in any state congresses conducted by committees appointed by the caretaker leadership of the African Democratic Congress, ADC. Delivering the judgment, Justice Joyce Abdul-Malik held that the responsibility for conducting state congresses lies with the party's state executive committees and not the national leadership. The court ruled that the 4-year tenure of the state working committees and state executive committees of the ADC remains valid and subsisting pending the conduct of properly constituted congresses and the convocation of a national convention. Meanwhile, the ADC leaders have urged the Supreme Court to hasten judgment on its leadership crisis. Okay, gentlemen, the court has made its ruling, but first of all, were you surprised by this ruling?
Well, I am not surprised. Actually, you see, like somebody was asking me on the radio program yesterday about the Ibadan summit. The problem with our politicians is that usually those people are not realistic. They want to build a house from the rooftop. When you buy a plot of land now, what is the first thing you do? You buy blocks. You start from the foundation. But our politicians want to start from the top. You have not successfully galvanized the people at the grassroots. Okay. You are talking of national election. You see, the problem is that the thing has to start from the grassroots. I'm not surprised because they bought a vehicle. They just went away with the steering wheel and the engine. They left the 4 tires and the body of the vehicle intact. How are they going to get to their destination? With your steering, can you drive the engine alone? So the problem they're having with that decision is that, like the judge said, that they have no power to conduct Congress in the states, which means if the legality of the national executive is questioned, it goes to show that any other action that is taken by that national executive will not be binding on the state executives. Okay. It also means that any state executive congress that they impose on the people will not be legally binding because they themselves are standing on a shaky ground. So the national executive of the ADC is being questioned in court, and the Federal Court of Appeal have ruled that they should maintain status quo antebellum, which means they should return to the position
before the hostilities
began. So you cannot begin to build the problem with ADC is that the leadership, after moving into the party, they started building from the top. You cannot build for them. And now they are trying to correct. Because I know it happened in Katsina and Kwara, where they outlawed, the INEC said that the congresses that were conducted in Katsina was unlawful. But those people who gave that order, their own membership is being questioned by the court. So how can you have the local standard to say that what states are doing is illegal when you yourself you are not standing on a moral legal ground? So I think that is the way where ADC missed it. They have to do something about that top. Let them settle that judgment first before they begin to impose their decision on the state. Because if you are not standing on legal ground, you cannot begin to have your tentacles spread to some other place or enforce a particular decision on other states because they will tell you that, do you have the local standard in law?
Okay, now, as well, time is of the essence now. With this judgment, what's the way forward for the ADC?
Well, I know that they are still waiting for the Supreme Court to, to decide. They are waiting for the Supreme Court to give them
interpretation or judgment.
That's what they are waiting for. But from this particular judgment or ruling, I don't see them still, if they are still thinking that something will come out from the Supreme Court. Well, it's the Supreme Court that will decide.
Yes.
So I will not say anything about that. But from this, it's something that we have been telling people right from day one. Because some people used to say, anything, why is the court interfering in matters that concerns political parties, But now the court is saying that these guys, even in the constitution, of the party itself, that they missed it. It doesn't even empower the constitution of the party. Doesn't even give validity to anything called even caretaker committee.
Caretaker committee, yes.
They still have 4 years. Their 4 years have not expired, and then all of a sudden you came from somewhere, you removed them.
The party and you now want to impose.
So that is the problem now. So it's like from the get-go, the Mark-led leadership or what leadership. You know, when Yoruba say we were handicapped, that is what they did to Nigerians. They didn't plan to do their own work at all. They just came to Nigeria and said they want to rescue Nigeria. Just like that. But you didn't do your own work well. But all of a sudden, you are trying to make it look as if it's the president that doesn't want people to even survive.
You cannot build on nothing. You have to build on something.
Their foundation was weak from day one.
They just bought a special purpose.
Exactly, and they started making noise up and down that the president wants to do, we are already talking about one-party state. Disturbing the politics. Yes, disturbing the politics.
Now, what happens to all the decisions taken by the caretaker committee now? Are they now
from the road and void? It's not and void.
Everything. And of no effect whatsoever.
The expulsion and
everything is gone. Because even if I was trying to read what the Justice Joyce actually said. Yes, he said the law is settled that courts will not interfere. Okay. However, there is an allegation of breach of constitutional and statutory provisions. Okay. The court said where there is an allegation of breach of constitutional and statutory provision, the court has the duty to intervene. Okay. Where a party alleges its constitution has been violated, the court is bound to adjudicate. Any argument that this court lacks jurisdiction on that basis fails. If you do not respect your own constitution, and you also do not respect the constitution of the land, anything you are saying, anything you are doing, forget it. That's what the law says. And it's also in section, I was all trying to read section 223 of the 1999 Constitution that also talks about the tenure of the political parties and their time. So if those guys are still on ground, why do you come to them and remove them? Now, they are still valid.
Now the other...
So you are saying something about what's next for them.
What's next for them?
I think I was discussing with Kayode yesterday. I said the best thing for them to do is for them to quickly look for another political party. Quickly. What I mean quickly,
resolving the crisis.
See, let me tell you.
ADC.
See, ADC crisis. They have this one is number one. No, they still have others.
They still have.
You know. So the best thing is for them to look for another political party for them to run. If they are interested in the 2027 election, they should look for another political party. If they want to rescue Nigeria, like they say, you know, that is the best thing for them to do. Because trying to wait for ADC, in fact, I remember BK was telling me that he would prefer even, I don't know. He too doesn't know what the Supreme Court will say.
Yes.
You know, bring out. But sometimes we look at it and say, even if the Supreme Court even gives this to them,
yes,
are you sure that other cases will not be affected? Are you sure that other cases will not even affect them? You know? But for me, I would love them to go to another political party. Yeah. Let's even start this race, this 2027 race. Yes. Let's start it. They have a new political party. They are, you know, galvanizing people to vote for them. I want to see their thoughts. I want to see their ideology. I want to see
the alternatives presented.
The new things that they want to do differently from what Mr. President is currently doing.
Now, with calls for expedited hearing at the Supreme Court, do you think a final judgment, you know, from the Supreme Court will solve the crisis in the ADC, or it will just be winners and losers?
Well, like Asuko said, trying to get something out of nothing will always turn to be an exercise in futility. If they are not standing on good grounds, there's no way, and they could not get the prayers they asked for at the Court of Appeal. I don't know how they are going to get that prayers at the Supreme Court. So,
but let's not preempt the court.
We are not preempting the court, but as it stands today, it's unfortunate that Nigerians I think the judiciary has to teach us a lesson, and that lesson is that handling business as usual.
Okay.
That you can go to anywhere and do what you like. All the top personalities in PDP, ADC, they have this attitude over the years that you can do anything. Or like, you remember retired Justice Salami make a declaration 2 weeks ago that ordinarily, if we follow the law to the letter, Mr. Peter Obi was not supposed to have been allowed to contest the 2023 election because he did not follow the due process of that party, just joined that party. And I was telling some people yesterday that now, when they were making that law, the Electoral Act in the National Assembly, saying that you cannot cross from one party today, be a candidate today, and go to the... They did not say anything, no.
Members of the ADC
they did not campaign it against
but just hold that thought. We have Godwin calling in from Aja. Godwin, let's talk.
Good evening.
Let's talk.
Hello. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, I must say thank you to all your analysts. Especially to Mr. Supo. Actually, he's saying they should look for alternatives to join, alternative party to join. I'm in support of him, but all I'm saying is this. How am I sure if they go or get another political party, they won't be threatened again? Because I will pick a candidate from that ADC, somebody like Peter Obi, a man of honesty, a man of trust, a man of trustworthiness, a man of truthfulness. Now he came out. He was in the Obi Labour Party. He was praised. He was threatened. He left Labour Party. I know he was formerly with ABGA, PDP, and others. Now he's with ADC. Trouble started. How am I sure if he now leaves another political party?
All right, thank you.
He won't be threatened. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
The
thing is, he talked about ABGA. Was he threatened out of ABGA or threatened out out of Labour Party?
Yes.
He was not threatened in Labour Party.
You could not control the apparatus in the country party.
Mr. Godwin has to go and look at Mr. Peter Obi's antecedents. Forget about his attribute of being...
Now, gentlemen, I wouldn't want us to... We're talking about the ADC.
Exactly.
Let's leave. But you talked about lessons, okay? They are looking at all the issues bedeviling the ADC. Are there lessons other political parties can actually learn from what is actually going on in the ADC?
You know, we said something about our democratic process is evolving. The way that we voted in 1999 is different from now. I remember 1999, there was a time that when once the accounting, I remember that of Enugu State, where the former president was. The number of voters was more than the number of accredited voters. So all those things have changed now. So as we evolve, in the electoral process, things are changing, and even our laws will continue to change, and political parties will begin to learn. But it's like some political parties do not even learn.
Let's just hold that thought. I apologize. Okay, we have Amaka calling in from Port Harcourt. Amaka, go ahead.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening to you. Good evening.
Shegun, your guests, they are really...
My name is Benga. Shegun.
Yes. Benga, sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Your guests, they are communicating well.
All right.
But going to, just as Asuko said, going to another party is not even the issue. Because 3 days ago, some group came out that PRP leader, that one man that came out, I've forgotten the name of the man from PRP, that said he's the leader of PRP. So, but some group came out again.
Akim Baba Ahmed.
Akim Baba Ahmed,
yes.
Some group came out again and said, it is not the leader of PRP, so where are we? Let God take control. Bye.
All right, then. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. So I need you to land on your thoughts.
So most political parties fail to learn. That is the problem. This Electoral Act, I want to give you an example. The Electoral Act, when this Electoral was, in this National Assembly,
yes,
and they were calling for people to come, look at it, remove what you want me to remove. People were not going there to go and look. Political parties who said they want to remove the president, they decided to sit down and they were doing other things.
So they dropped the ball in that regard.
So when things as small as Electoral Act comes for you to amend, people are not, once you are not there, the people who are there will decide your fate. Because look at it. People were busy talking about real time, but there were some other
issues,
in the Electoral Act. You understand? So it is the same thing that happens even in the party constitution.
Okay.
So once the court is now telling us this, that next time, if you want to, anybody that wants to go and acquire another political party, he has to look at that party's constitution. He must read it properly before he goes to acquire, whether he can acquire or not. Because that is what the court is telling you. Because anything that you do, if you contravene the constitution of that political party,
then the court
anything that you are doing is null and void. So people should learn from this.
Okay, there are those who will say they have issues with the courts, interfering in affairs of political parties. How do you respond to them?
Well, I think the biggest problem we have in this country is that we are impatient with both democratic principles and legal precedents. Okay. Legal in the sense that any association, even a cooperative society or club that we used to form in those days, we have constitution.
Exactly.
As small as that.
WhatsApp group also have constitution.
Even market women has constitution which they follow rigidly. You'll be surprised when they are conducting their election. They follow it. But in politics and some other things in Nigeria, we behave as if we are not existing before. So our politicians and our leaders and some other things, we take a lot of things for granted. All this impunity, we have carried our impunity so far. We behave as if there's no rule. Like I said the other time, you cannot stand on nothing. Every party, every association has a constitution. Respect your own and be patient enough to follow the process, both in the legal way and the political way. I said the other time that the National Assembly did public announcement and they put it in newspapers. Public hearing. Come and present your memorandum to the people did not show up. They were talking about some other things. But you know that the vehicle that you bought, like I said now, if you buy a new car now, before you take it to the highway, are you not going to check all the money and it breaks down along the road? And you're not blaming the person who sold the car to you.
All right, gentlemen, it's a fine place for us to leave it. Thank you so much for doing this with us. Appreciate you. Asukwa James, thank you very much. Appreciate you. And that's it on Journalist Hangout today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11. Join us on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Benga Oreshegun. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.